Let's move on to something that you and I have talked about a lot when I've come to your classes, which is finding the right balance between effort and ease. Now, there is a version of this in life, and there's a version of this in yoga. Can you tell us a little bit about that and what you've seen and how the practice of yoga, and let's call it the achievement of this through yoga, gets translated into day-to-day life?
So I find this to be a fascinating conversation. I will just say that balancing effort and ease is my whole life philosophy. And it's really what allowed me to have some healing within the yoga, despite my very serious degenerative arthritis in my hip and the pain I had in my back. One of the things I just find humorous on a light note is when I started with Beaker in the mid 90s, all he talked about were lazy Americans, and he kind of met the West. I know you're from England, but historically, that's not where you're from. You would be put in a different category. But what's funny that I always laugh about is that is so untrue. 90% of the people who come to my studio have what I call, and I would put you 100% in this category, which is serious type A tendencies. So we have to laugh at ourselves about that. And what's funny is I don't actually put myself in that category. I'm very intense and I'm very driven, but I like to say I'm actually a little lazy, emotional, and dramatic. I mean, literally, when they said, lock your name, like, but I'm hyperextended. You have this drama, but I can't. I have arthritis. I broke my hip. You have all this. I had kind of, for me, all this drama to work through. So I actually needed his strength for me to get out of my crazy mind of like, no, why don't you see what you can do instead of dramatizing all the things that are your issues you can't do? I found that incredibly powerful. And what the yoga is so good at, and why it's also important people find the yoga that works for them. There was just a huge New York Times article about a studio in New York because the teacher told her maybe consider not drinking water before eagle pose. And you've done the yoga, that's the break. And the way Bikram used to teach with this very intense, strict, that was the concept of my brain and your body. I always had a bit of a more balanced approach to it. And my thing is, I want everyone to come. I want all the type A's. I want the people who are scared to death and 100 pounds overweight and have never done anything. I want everybody there. So what you have to find, and that's what I'm trying to teach you, is where is your balance of effort and ease? Is it just straightening your arms? You're so intense that you're going to hurt yourself in this yoga because you are so driven and determined. I'm going to do whatever she says. That's how most people are. Actually, in your case, need to back you up so you can find a place of healing and breath to calm your mind enough to see where is too far. Because when you wake up the next day and can't move, that's not helpful either. So I'm not impressed that you're in great shape and are really fit. That's not interesting to me. And I don't think that's what's interesting to you. Those are the benefits of caring for yourself. But in this class, I want your back to feel better. I want your shoulders to feel better. I want you to be able to get through the day, whether you're sitting or standing, and just feel better. That's very empowering. So learning those sort of things of who needs to work a little harder, who needs to back off, which is most people, just so they can breathe. When you find that ease, like you said, that's when all these other light bulbs. And we also don't like to feed, not everyone is going to ever care about the Bhagavad Gita or looking into the chanting Patanjali. Many people will never be interested in that. But the fact is, when you slow your breath down, when you find where is that perfect place to work and have breath, that's when the yoga is very different. I mean, Jason, I forget if you were a runner, but that's the problem is there's people who think they are healthy and physically, I guess they are in terms of like their heart rate's low or they've got great blood pressure, but their body is killing them because they can go run 100 miles. It doesn't matter. Their knees are shot or their backs are killing them. Right. So it's people like you. It's usually ex-athletes, ex-runners, ex-triathletes that are like, my body can't do this anymore. And in some cases, I even laugh at all the guys in their 50s, 40s, and 50s who want to still go play basketball. I say, well, that's great. Or want to keep running, go do that. Or play soccer, which sounds hideous to me, but they still enjoy it. And doing the yoga gives them the tools to understand how to slow down, to understand how to move correctly, to see where they have limits, where they have pain, and to heal that. It ends up making them a more holistically healthy person. And it gives them the tools how to work to feel better, both in the room and in life.